Now let us try and understand what is project management. So project management involves initiating, planning, executing, controlling, and closing the work of a team to achieve specific goals and meet specific objectives within a stipulated time, right? So the if we look at the primary challenge of project management, it is to be able to achieve all the project goals within certain constraints, which could be related to time, which could be related to resources, and so on, which could be related to logistics, right? And some of these primary constraints, like I said, they could be money related. So it could be budget, it could be time, it could be resources, it could be quality, or it could be scope. And the secondary challenge of project management, which is also more ambitious, is to optimize the allocation of necessary inputs and apply them to meet predefined goals. So, how best you can use whatever is at your disposal and then make the most out of whatever is available for you, right? And also you have to make sure that finally the project that you have undertaken meets the client's objectives also, right? And for this you have to do a needs analysis. You have to understand what the client is actually looking for, and once this is clearly established, then you can actually things will become smoother. You can delegate responsibility. For example, you can have project managers, you can have a designer, a contractor, a subcontractor, and so on. Hmm? And what happens is, if you do not define your objectives well, then it is very difficult to make decisions which are necessary to finish the project or complete the project on time. So the primary thing is to define your goals and your objectives. What is it that you finally want to achieve through this project? Now, let us look at the phases of project management. So, let us go to the first phase, which is the initiation phase. So in the at the initiating stage, we determine the nature and the scope of the project, right? If this sta- and This stage is almost like the planning stage. So if this stage does not go well, it is unlikely that the project will be successful, or you will be able to successfully accomplish what you set out to do, right? So the key project controls needed over here are an understanding of the business environment and making sure that all necessary controls are incorporated into the project. So firstly, taking stock of the situation, taking a kind of absorbing an understanding of available resources, the given time, the money that is allotted, right? And anything that you feel is inadequate, any shortcoming, any lacunae, they should be straight away reported, and they should be accompanied by suggestions to make amends. So, the initiating stage should include a plan that encompasses the following areas. So, A, it should have a project proposal, which should comprise the idea behind the project, the goal of the project, the duration, that is the timeline for the project. Then the second thing is the project scope, which will talk about the direction and the track of the project. Then the third thing is called PBS, or project breakdown structure, which should comprise a list of deliverables, outcomes, and their components, usually arranged in order of importance. So the most important comes first, the least important comes last. Then it is followed by WBS, which is work breakdown structure, which is a list of the work to be done down to daily tasks, again, usually arranged in order of importance. Right? So, in descending order of importance. So, the most important comes first, and then, and so on and so forth. Then, you need to have in your initiation stage, you need to identify who you will assign what roles and responsibilities to, right? Depending on what you want to accomplish. Then the timeline for the project, so important dates, deadlines, milestones if there are any. then a needs analysis, and you need to measure the outcomes against the needs. So you have to first identify the needs and then decide the outcomes, right? Which will include financial outcome, personnel requirements, end users and stakeholders, then review of the current operations, and a SWOT slash challenge analysis. So you know what's a SWOT analysis. So you are going to assess strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats to the business. So all this comes at the initiating stage. Then comes the planning stage. After the initiation, the project is planned to an appropriate level of detail. So remember one thing, if your planning is meticulous, your execution will be flawless, right? So you need to work out the smallest of details, and these could be this could mean working on very very mundane, very very nondescript things, like scheduling holidays, like petty cash expenses, like overheads, calculating maximum overheads, taking into account anticipated problems, things like that. The main purpose behind planning is to plan the timeline and how much resources and expense will you need to put in, so that you know that within this period I will have spent so much money and resources to accomplish the objectives that I have set out to. Managing risks. Managing risk is also an important element here, which means you always need to have multiple plans. You need to have a plan B and maybe a plan C and D also, which could be put into execution to deal with delays, or if you overshoot the budget, or if you lose manpower suddenly, if you're low on resources, right? So, if you have anticipated these problems and if you have come up with alternatives at the planning and the execution stage itself, then you are less likely to stumble. Okay, now project planning generally consists of determining the project management methodology to follow. For example, whether the plan will be defined wholly upfront, in successive phases, or in rolling waves. Then selecting the planning team, identifying goals and outcomes, and creating the product and work breakdown structures. For example, while building a house, so let's take the example, if what do you have to do in case you want to build a house? So you would need to plan how the work happens, in which order you would like it to happen, how much material you will need, how much labor you will need, what is the timeline you have in mind, right? And then identify the activities needed to complete those outcomes, and networking the activities in their logical sequence. Then working out a fair estimation of the resource requirements for the activities that you have identified, then estimating the time and the cost for these activities, then developing a schedule, and then working on a budget. And then you also have risk planning. So, for example, if you're building a house, you would want to plan for delays in delivery of materials like sand, or unavailability of materials in your location, right? Then another important thing that you have to keep in mind at the planning stages, you have to develop quality assurance measures, and then you have to before you begin work, you have to gain formal approval, right? So these are some of the things you have to bear in mind at the planning stage. At the executing stage, now, like I said, if your planning is meticulous, you just have to go by your plan, and you have to just put your plan into action, right? So this phase of execution ensures that the project management plans deliverables are executed accordingly. Now, this phase involves proper allocation, coordination, and management of human resources and any other resources such as materials and budgets. So, you have this beautiful, impeccable plan on paper, but when you have to execute it, it has to reflect that impeccability and perfection, right? So just making sure that your planning with regards to resources, material, manpower, time, budget are as per your plan, right? The execution is happening as per plan. Execution means carrying out of a plan. While in this phase, you will find that there are a number of smaller teams who are working on parts of the project. So, if you are working on a very big project, there will always be smaller teams, right, which are working on different parts of the project, right? And it is important on your part to ensure that these teams are in constant communication with each other, and that their leaders are talking to each other, they are taking updates from each other, and they are reporting to the project manager. So communication at all ends needs to be open and smooth. Now, this is also where the soft skills of teamwork and leadership are essential. So, along with the hard skills, that is the technical expertise uh, in executing a project, you also need soft skills, uh, like communication skills, like leadership, like teamwork, like cooperation and collaboration, to make sure that the execution is happening smoothly. The next stage is the monitoring and the controlling stage. So, monitoring and controlling consists of those processes that are performed to observe project execution so that potential problems can be identified in a timely manner. So, you need to constantly monitor. Monitor is to supervise, to examine, and you need to control. So, if say materials are short, you need to be in the know of things, right? That is where your plan B will come up. So corrective actions need to be taken in a timely manner, and problems need to be identified when necessary, right? So project performance update needs to happen from time to time. Now, what does monitoring and controlling include? So one is that you supervise and you constantly oversee the ongoing project activities. That is where we are at each stage. Then the second part is monitoring the project variables like cost, effort, scope, etc., against the project management plan. So it is not possible that whatever you have planned, things will go exactly as per the plan. I mean, you can always try to make it to ensure that execution is as close to the plan as possible, but sometimes most of the time it so happens that execution is different from the planning. So for that, you need to monitor and control. So sometimes it could be budget related, something that the cost is over and above what you had put on paper. Sometimes it could be a labor issue, sometimes it could be a materials issue, right? So always monitoring the project variables. That is, variables is the elements, the factors that can keep changing against the plan and the project performance baseline. So there will be a project performance baseline, as in where we should be and where we are. So constantly keeping tab on these two things. Then the third thing is identifying corrective actions to address issues and risks properly. So if there's too much of a disparity between where we should be and where we are, then taking corrective actions, coming up with plans to reduce that disparity, so that where we are and where we should be are close to each other. In multi-phase projects, the monitoring and control process also provides feedback between project phases to implement corrective or preventive actions to bring the project into compliance with the project management plan. Now, it is very natural that during the course of a project, the work scope could change. Change is normal because you cannot control everything. Everything is so dynamic, labor is so dynamic, materials is so dynamic, right? Transport is so dynamic. So change is bound to happen, and change should be normal. Change is normal and it should be expected, it shouldn't come as a surprise. Now, when changes are introduced to the project, the viability of the project has to be reassessed. So, what you need to do is that you need to keep re evaluating whether the project is feasible, and at this stage, when you're doing this, it is important that you do not lose sight. You do not lose the vision of the original goals and objectives that you had defined for the project, right? And finally, we come to the closing stage. Closing includes the formal acceptance of the project and its ending. So you finish a project and the project is accepted, and now the project has ended. So that's the closing phase or stage. Administrative activities related to closing include the archiving of the files and documenting lessons learned. Now, this phase will consist of contract closure, which is where you will have to complete and settle each contract, right? And close each contract applicable to the project or project phase. And then project close would mean finalize all activities across all of the process groups to formally close the project as a project phase. Hmm? And then this phase also has a post implementation review, and this is a very important phase of the project and it's especially important for the project team to learn from experiences and to apply to future projects. And normally, what is a post implementation review? Well, it includes looking at things that went well and analyze things that went badly on the project to come up with lessons learned. So in a project, obviously you would want everything to go smoothly, but sometimes things may not go as planned, go as per plan. So what went well, what didn't go very well? So reflecting on what didn't go very well, and thinking coming up with action points so that things can go better the next time. Now, scope of project management. Management methods can be applied to any project. It is often tailored to a specific type of project based on project size, nature, and industry. For example, the construction industry, which focuses on the delivery of things. So, what is the project? What are the projects that the construction industry engages in? It will be delivering things like buildings, roads, bridges, right? Malls, etc. And it has so the construction industry has developed its own specialized form of project management that it refers to, which is called construction project management, in which project managers can become trained and certified. So there are actual courses, there are professional courses that are run and which you can undergo to get trained as a project manager, say in a particular sector like the construction industry. Then you have the IT industry, which has also evolved to develop its own form of project management that is referred to as IT project management, and which specializes in the delivery of technical assets and services. Then you have biotech project management, which focuses on the intricacies of biotechnology research and development. So, for each type of project management, project managers develop and utilize repeatable templates. Right, so the template is a standard template and with standard specifications and directives, and these specifications are mapped according to the industry they are dealing with. Now, this allows project plans to become very thorough and highly repeatable. So when you repeat something, it becomes more and more perfect because you go on eliminating chances of errors, right? And that is how you increase quality, you lower costs, and you lower also time to deliver optimum project results. So that was project management for you. Hope you found it helpful. Thank you so much for listening to the session.